Wow, I feel special.
That's right. You get all
Priority.
the internet.
Okay. All right. Welcome back, OSLP family. This is Our Sleeved Life, and this is Kelly.
This is Mel.
And today we have a very, very special guest on the show, Jeanine. She is from ProCare, and we are super, super excited to talk with her. She has had weight loss surgery. And she's also a big advocate for the weight loss surgery community,
which is amazing because that's what we need more of. That's what we're seeking more of. That's what we're all about because like everybody knows, if you've been following us, and I didn't have a lot of support. So
exactly.
This is what I've been seeking this whole time. Whole time. Something's wrong.
What do you mean?
There's like, it's not picking me up. You see that? Like I'm talking, unless that's, no, you talk.
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, so we swapped lines. I'm sorry that I just did that, but it's okay.
Oh, we swapped lines?
We did. Yeah, normally I'm on the top line and you're on the bottom.
Oh.
You're the middle, but now it's swapped, but it's fine.
Okay.
So, all right, anyways.
All right. So now we're going to bring Jeanine on. Welcome into our studio.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you, ladies, for having me here.
Of course. We are so excited to learn more about your journey and what you bring to the weight loss surgery family. And then also talk more about ProCare, because we spoke with Brenda already. And so we want to hear your side of how you work with ProCare. And because so far we love the company. So
and there's just so much to learn about you. So we're excited. So we kind of wanted to start from like the beginning
of your journey,
your personal journey with weight loss. Like, where did it start? When did you finally get weight loss surgery? Kind of those things.
Yeah. Give us a backstory on where you started with your journey.
Okay. Well, my bariatric journey began about 3 years prior to me having bariatric surgery. I was in meeting my primary care physician. Sorry. So I was in meeting the primary care physician, and then I had asked him about weight loss medication and if he would prescribe it. And he didn't feel comfortable prescribing that medication, but he did say, Jeanine, I think you'd be an excellent candidate for bariatric surgery. And I was like, bariatric surgery? Really? Am I to that point? And I'm like, would I even qualify? And because I had my own preconceived thoughts on bariatric surgery. And he said, Jeanine, you would be an excellent candidate and you would qualify. And I recommend that this is something that you consider. And so I went home and I just was like, really? I am to that point? Like, I didn't realize that I was even a candidate. And so I took about 3 years to learn about bariatric surgery. What I decided during that time was I was going to look for other bariatric patients and look for online communities and see what their lifestyle was about, see how things were going for them. And actually, I had thought at one point, if I copied the lifestyle of a bariatric patient, I could actually lose the weight and not have bariatric surgery. But I later found out that I gained 30 pounds doing that because it's not, those are my preconceived own thoughts and biases. Okay. So anyway, by the time that
I thought the same thing too. Like I totally thought that. I was like, oh, if I just copy what they're doing, it'll be fine. It's like, no, like we're all so different. That's what I learned on this journey. Our body makeup is so different.
And now knowing the science behind bariatric surgery, I know that it's more than just you have a smaller stomach and you eat less. There's a lot more to it with absorption and different things. And how we maintain those calories after bariatric surgery. So there's a lot more science behind it than just following the diet of a bariatric patient.
100%.
But by the time I met with the bariatric surgeon, I had gained 30 more pounds from that initial time with talking with my primary care physician. But during those 3 years, what I learned was that the stigma and the bias that surrounded bariatric surgery was pervasive, and that I was going to make this decision to have this surgery. I was going to make a change. Somehow I was going to do something, and I was going to share my journey as I lived it, and in hopes of changing some of those stigmas and biases, because through that time of watching bariatric patients and other patients who were in their pre-op stages, I had seen some real struggles mentally for patients, stress that they were going through with self-internalizing guilt that they felt shamed, and comments from the people outside of, comments from even their loved ones. Okay. That, that
absolutely.
an easy way out. Just all those preconceived thoughts and biases that come with bariatric surgery. And, but the biggest one was the easy way out. I saw patients who were to the point of having surgery within a week and then backing out because their family was against it. Their husband was going to leave them. Their parents were going to disown them. I mean, I had heard everything. I had seen patients go to the hospital alone because they didn't want anyone to know they were having the surgery because of the shame that they had felt. Patients who told their spouses they were having gallbladder removal and actually having bariatric surgery.
Wow.
I had seen so much. I had seen so much that it was like, I'm going to share my story, and hopefully along the way I'll collect more voices. We're going to share our stories, and we're going to normalize this treatment for obesity, because in my opinion, it's the number one treatment for obesity is bariatric surgery. And we know with the medical numbers, the science behind it, that this is the best chance of losing that weight and maintaining that weight loss is with bariatric surgery. No patient should feel shamed.
Correct.
Every patient should feel supported and should feel self-confident. And I just decided that I was going to somehow make a difference by sharing my journey. And I started that right from the hospital pre-op room on social media with sharing and
how long
telling people that this is where I'm. It was September of 2017. Okay. I actually had the duodenal switch procedure.
Okay.
I did not have the sleeve.
Could you explain what that is exactly and what made you decide to have that surgery?
Yes.
That's already starting to go one way. There's various types of bariatric surgery. I had the duodenal switch procedure, which is the most pervasive procedure. Not only does it have the restriction component of bariatric surgery with the restriction in the stomach, but it also has a malabsorption piece to it, that the lifestyle of a duodenal switch patient is a little bit different after bariatric surgery than with the other procedures, because the amount of supplementation that I need each day is quite different than a sleeve patient or an RNY patient, because of the malabsorption piece that comes with the duodenal switch. I made that decision because I felt confident that I was a patient who could maintain this new lifestyle for the rest of my life, because my labs were like every 3 months the first year, but then they were like twice a year for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And then maybe yearly after that. And my needs, like I said, each day for supplements and protein are much different than another patient, but every patient is different anyway. But I knew that my supplement need was going to be quite different right from the get-go. And I felt that I was a patient that could maintain that and felt confident in that. But also I felt that I found a surgeon who was very qualified with that procedure, because this isn't a procedure that every bariatric surgeon gives.
Yeah.
And I felt I had found that surgeon, so I felt confident that I was in the right hands to have this procedure.
Okay.
Because I heard a lot of horror stories in this area too.
Yeah.
But I just felt that it was all. Yeah, so I felt it all came together for me. And actually the surgeon who gave me this surgery has trained in many prestigious clinics and has given the surgery in many different countries of the world. And I just knew from his background, he was qualified to give me this surgery.
Fantastic.
I don't know if I can name names here.
Yeah. Can you give
know
the surgeon's name?
Okay, so yes, the surgeon who gave me the surgery, his name is Dr. Fadi Mustara, and he is in Michigan.
Awesome.
And I just had a wonderful experience. And I knew I was in great hands. I felt confident in his skill from the moment I met him. And so I'm just truly blessed to have found a surgeon who could give me the duodenal switch. I love my switch. I've met many patients who have started with a sleeve or bypass and then have had a oh gosh, why am I dropping the word now?
Revision.
When a patient, a revision. I've met many patients who have gone on to have revisions, and so to a duodenal switch. So I've gotten to meet revision patients too, but I was fortunate to right out of the gates can have this Cadillac, I call it, procedure, but so
yeah, because you get the best of both worlds.
Had a complication. I spent the 2 nights in the hospital after the surgery, went home with no complications. I've never had a complication, and 3.5 years out, I'm happy, healthy, and loving life. And
awesome.
I am blessed to have my switch. So I am very, very blessed and grateful. Now, so that was my journey. And what happened is after my procedure at the hospital, I needed to continue to share my story and my journey and to, like I said, gather these voices, but I didn't know exactly how to do it. I went to Twitter and I started looking for others who were talking about obesity. And I came across a great load of medical professionals in the obesity world who were tweeting about obesity and bariatric surgery. And I came across this once a month chat called the OBSM chat, which is the Obesity Social Medicine chat.
Okay.
And
I had no idea.
Yeah. I came across this, and on this chat was a lot of people that were not only in the medical community, but also involved in the Obesity Action Coalition. So a lot of their members were in this chat too. So I joined into the chat, and what I found is right away I had this extremely warm welcome, not only from patients in this group, but all these medical professionals. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I was so welcomed to the first chat. And so then I joined the next chat, and everyone remembered me and, engaging with me in the next chat. And before you know it, I'm behind the scenes DMing different people and sharing conversation and talking about how can I go further with my advocacy work. And so I joined that like 3 months after my bariatric surgery. And how I actually found it was I was watching on Twitter the yearly obesity week meeting that medical professionals attend. On there, I had seen them talk about this chat. So that's how I knew to get to this chat.
Great.
Well, so a couple more months go by. And so I'm about 9 months after bariatric surgery, 8 months after bariatric surgery. I'm sitting here in bed one night and I'm like, okay, Jeanine, we're tweeting, we're doing this on social media, we're doing this, but we got to come up with something else. There's got to be something that grabs attention, something that is more powerful, something that people are going to remember me by, something I can start. There's got to be something I can start to create a movement. And all of a sudden it just hit me. I am a bariatric patient.
Yeah.
I'm going to
your
hashtag,
story.
I am a bariatric patient hashtag. I'm going to get this hashtag trending.
Yeah.
There you go.
So then I found out it's not as easy to get a hashtag trending like in a day.
Yeah. There's a lot of work. A lot of work
that goes into that.
But I made some shirts.
Love it.
I threw them on. I made some shirts, I threw them on, and I started on Twitter with a picture. And the first response came from Germany. And the next one came from England. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, well, I'm going to be able to do this. But then again, I found out hashtags not that easy. Anyway, as I kept posting, I was grabbing voices and grabbing more voices. And now I've really got it. It's doing very strong on Instagram. And if you search the hashtag, I'm a bariatric patient, on Instagram, you are going to find thousands of beautiful, amazing patients flaunting their pictures, either in I'm a bariatric patient shirt, or, even not in a shirt, whatever, they're in some type of clothing.
Oh yeah, we're going to have to,
people all over.
We are so going to have to get
shirts. You do, you know what, girls, I'll have to get you some. Like, I don't have like this big source of shirts. I just go to my local screen printer and pay them $5 and they throw out a shirt I pick out.
Nice.
People ask me all the time, how can I get a shirt? Can I buy one? I'm like, I don't sell them. Like, this isn't something I'm making money on. This is something I just want. It was a statement I came up with because I felt like an I am statement is like just so powerful.
Yeah.
And I thought it was something people could relate to, and then people could remember. And then as I keep trying to show my support, if somebody wanted to find me, it's easy just to type in, I'm a bariatric patient. You're gonna find me.
Oh, for real. Because that's going to be really, it's going to be really easy for our followers and listeners if they all start using that, because then we can all find each other.
Exactly. And that's what we're all about. We want to break that stigma. We want to have that warm welcome that you talked about. Like, we want to support one another because we're all in this together. We all know where we're coming from.
Oh yeah. We all have like a horror story or a why of what's going on with us. And like, I felt the shame. I felt the guilt. I totally understand. I didn't think that I was not ready, but
a candidate.
I had no idea I was a candidate. I was so in denial of my size. Like, I didn't realize that, like, I know the scale said 308, but I didn't realize I was actually 308.
Yeah.
Like, because that was my highest. What was your highest?
My highest was 263.
263.
Okay. I was 265 at my highest. Well, so when I got weighed.
Recorded.
Yeah, recorded highest weight was 265.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
So our thoughts before surgery were, gosh, I could go in so many directions with this. Okay. Obesity is one of the last forms of acceptable discrimination. It really is. And even those who have 20, 30, 40 pounds to lose can be a little biased towards people that have 100, 200, 300 to lose.
Oh, my family that are just as big as me were biases against me.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, have you seen
because
her?
They can,
like, look how
well, yeah, I have a little bit to lose, but they got a lot to lose.
Exactly.
So there's some, back to the I'm a bariatric patient before we leave that. I wanted to say one other thing. There's a clinic in Australia who picked up about 2 years ago. This clinic picked up a campaign for I'm a bariatric patient, and they give every patient a shirt that comes through their clinic. And they ask their patients to post on social media wearing the shirt and to tag them if they feel comfortable. So now this clinic has drawn a lot of attention to themselves in Australia because they have these patients out there hashtagging this, and then the patients are showing their support and trying to normalize the treatment with bariatric surgery by wearing this shirt. So it's like really done a lot in Australia for this movement. They've even asked me if they could put together a walk, and I'm a bariatric patient walk in over there, which would be amazing if they did.
How cool would that be?
Go there and be a part of it.
Fun.
Yeah, because there is a weight loss awareness week that we did our own 3K.
We did our own 3K. This last just a few months ago.
It's the first week of October is a weight loss awareness week. So we did a 3K on that. So yeah, you should do that. That would be amazing. So much fun. Like, we need to get over to the States. We need to get the States on board with like, hey, stop being mean to us obesity people.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop throwing us hate.
So, I know one thing you ladies had asked me before we started the podcast today. One question you had asked me, you said, what is an advocate?
Yeah, what is an advocate?
I mean, obviously you know what that is, but I think you just wanted to hear my answer.
Definitely, definitely.
I think you know what that is. But so first of all, I'm going to say it's such a broad question. It really is, because depending on who's answering it and depending on what they're advocating for. But since we're here today on the Sleeve Life podcast, and we're here because of my advocacy in obesity and for what I consider the number one treatment of obesity, bariatric surgery, to me, an advocate is somebody who shares their story, their journey with others in hopes of bringing awareness to their cause with really the goal of, for me, to have better access to care, treatment, to normalize treatment, to change the stigmas and the biases that surround bariatric surgery or obesity or whatever. So that's, to me, what an advocate is in this field. But I also get asked quite a bit, how can I be an advocate? I'm asked this a lot. I want an advocate. I want to be an advocate. How can I be an advocate? And I respond, you are an advocate. Using your voice, you're an advocate. My son is 16 and he is on the autism spectrum. For years, For years before I had bariatric surgery and became an advocate in the bariatric world, I was advocating for his services at school and his services with medical professionals, mental health professionals. And I didn't even know I was an advocate. But here I was advocating for my son. And when one day, when I first became what I considered myself an advocate in this field, and I'm like, well, I'm an advocate now. And I was like, it hit me. I was like, I'm not an advocate now. I've been an advocate for years. Most everybody listening to this podcast, you've already been an advocate. You might not have known it.
You just don't realize it. Yeah. Because if you're helping,
you don't realize it because an advocate, to me, an advocate is somebody, like I said, who shares their life experience for a cause. But what's important about advocating and sharing your life experiences, people relate to other people's life experiences. And if they don't, they look for a way to relate. Yes. People are curious by nature. People are very curious by nature. And if you start to share an experience, they want to find a way to relate. And that is very powerful when it comes to advocating for what you want to advocate for. And we advocate for illnesses and diseases and maybe life situations that have affected us. It was a life like I lost a child. So, I advocate there too with mental health with other parents and try to be a voice with other parents who've lost a child. So there's so many ways we advocate, and we already know it, and why it's so important to share our experiences, because we never know who we're going to touch, and we never know who's going to touch us. So countless people have touched me and affected me in ways that they will never know. And I'm sure that when I reach out and tell a story, I've affected at least one person when I've told that story. We just never know who we're affecting. And that's a big part of the why in advocating, because people just relate to other people's experiences.
They do,
and they want to relate.
It's so important because, like, even just so my husband has this best friend that he's had for like 20 years. And, they're getting older. So they're gaining the weight. They're, not realizing the food and the alcohol and all the things that they do is really affecting them. And then we started this podcast, and I showed him photos of men because he's more that macho man, like, I can do anything on my own type.
Yeah.
And
I don't need surgery.
I don't need help. I'll do it all on my own. And so, like, I showed him when we did the interview with Sleep Leave the Hype.
Kendrick.
And I showed him photos of him, and he was like, he got the surgery? And I was like, yeah, dude, like, anybody can get the surgery if they need it. Like, you just need to talk to your doctor. And he's like, no, I don't think I can. I was like, yeah, you can. I started going through the photos of Kendrick. And he was like, maybe I could. Like, by the end of it, he was like thinking, like, I just needed to realize, like, other guys do this. Like, he was like, okay, I just need to know that regular guys get the surgery too. And, like, it kind of started spawning his brain of like, okay.
Well, I think you always think that you are the odd man out, that you don't need it.
Right.
And then when, like, us now looking back, we're like, oh, thank God we did it. Like, this was like the best decision. Why didn't we do it sooner?
Yeah.
I feel like everybody says that. Why didn't I do it sooner?
Yes.
And then you think back and you're like, because I thought I was the old, like, that I didn't need it. Well, I didn't need it.
The huge stigma around us makes us believe that too, because for us to accept that we need the surgery means that they were all right about me being a fat person, like, basically.
But
like,
you're a fat person, whether you have the surgery or, it doesn't matter. The surgery doesn't make you a fat person.
No.
No. And that's what we have to get across to people, is that just because you have surgery doesn't mean that you are a failure or that you are a fat person.
Or that you're gross or embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, you're not these things.
Yeah.
Like, we all need help, and we all need help differently.
Exactly.
And ours just happen to be, like, we're food addicts. Most of us are. I know I am. I will fully admit that I am. So it's like just knowing who you are and how you can actually help yourself. Because there's nothing wrong with helping yourself. I think these days people have a huge stigma about it's like, oh, she wants to do things to help herself. Like, gross. And it's like, why is that gross? Why is it a problem for me to actually go work out every day? Isn't it weird that people will make fun of you for working out? It's like, why? Is that problem for you. I'm the one that does it. Like,
yeah,
it's so confusing.
I've gotten messages from people that are like, oh God, she's posting about working out again. It's like, does it affect you?
Like, this is my life. This is what I do. You don't have to watch, but someone out there, like, we're advocating for people without, like, how she's talking about how we don't even realize it.
Exactly.
So us posting this is important.
It is important.
You know, your little hatefulness can go away. Like,
exactly. So
your podcast is very important. This is very important messages that you're spreading, and I applaud you for doing this because it is very important. I do want to say one thing though, not a food addict or food addiction. Not everybody that has obesity does have a food addiction. Some people do, some people don't. There's a lot of science behind obesity. So anybody listening, don't just because one person has a food addiction doesn't mean. Yes, because we do know that there's a science behind obesity. We do know the genetics behind obesity, and some of the best eaters I know and healthiest eaters I know are obese, and some of the worst eaters I know are thin as a rail and can't gain a pound. Seriously. So there's a lot of genetics behind there too. So, and there's a lot of mental work with this because, I mean, let's take, for instance, when people hear they have to have a psych exam for bariatric surgery prerequisite. Okay. People, so many times people will say, I'm nervous about that because I know I have depression. So many people that are affected by obesity do have depression and anxieties and a lot of self-internalizations and self-doubt, stigmas within their own self. Though that just comes with this. So there's a lot of mental work with this because of the society's perception of bariatric surgery being the easy way out, and society's perception, even some of the medical professionals, their perception of, well, eat less, move more. When eat less, move more doesn't work for everybody, especially when you hit a certain point. So there's so many stigmas out there, and we sometimes need to look at, when we are in that mental space, who are my closest supporters? Who am I going to for my closest support? And sometimes we have to reevaluate that and say, maybe this person shouldn't be who's in my closest support. They love me. They love me to pieces. They're my mom, they're my dad, they're my cousin, they're my sister. They love me, but they aren't educated in obesity or bariatric surgery. And if they're my main support while I'm trying to go through this journey, maybe they're just not the best main support right now. And maybe in a year from now, they will be, but sometimes we have to evaluate too, who's right there as our go-to for main support, and sometimes change that up, maybe not forever, but for a little while, because sometimes the most well-intentioned, loving person for us might not be the best mental support for going through something like this, especially when you're in the pre-op, especially during your pre-op stage, when you yourself don't know as much about the surgery as you do actually like 5 years later, and those around you don't know as much. So sometimes we have to be mindful of who our supporters are too, and just know that they love us and they have the best intentions, but they're not the most educated. So we got to get this out of our head space, what they said, and
I think that's great that you brought that up, because you do need to do kind of like a support check. Just kind of go through who's in your family and friends, and who you can talk about bariatric surgery with, and who you think maybe you shouldn't right now. And
I remember when I was going through pre-op, and I was almost to the scheduling my surgery time of pre-op, and my mom was still on the fence.
Right.
And I remember having a conversation with her and saying, okay, this is happening whether you want it to or not, but I would like you to be a significant support system in this for me. And so she actually went with me to my surgeon's office. So she got to ask questions, and she felt so much more comfortable because she was just worried about me. And that's the biggest thing, is she was just concerned, because it is a big surgery. And once she talked with my surgeon and got to ask her questions, she immediately felt so much better about the decision.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to bring them in with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ladies, I have a friend who is a surgeon, and he had bariatric surgery about 20 years ago. He himself is a surgeon, and he's a world-known surgeon. He's given surgeries worldwide, and he is was a graduate from Yale, and he has been on Lifetime TV doing surgeries.
How cool.
He went to have his surgery. He went to have his surgery 18 years ago, and he was given surgery by somebody who's pretty well known in the bariatric community. Now, this surgeon isn't a bariatric surgeon. He was a general surgeon, but his bariatric surgeon was pretty well known. And his mother was by his bedside the night before his surgery, because back then they used to have you spend the night before. And she looked at the doctor and said, "My son doesn't need bariatric surgery. He needs his jaw wired shut." Now, her son was a Yale graduate, a surgeon. He is like filmed on TV surgeon. And this is what his mother had said to his surgeon at his hospital.
Wow.
So, and his mother loved it. She was just scared to death for her son to undergo this surgery, because back 18 years ago, it wasn't as talked about as much as it is now. And she was just scared to death, and she was uneducated. So there's so many examples of situations like that. And people who are listening probably are going to write into you or leave comments to you about things that maybe their biggest supporters or loved ones had said, who they thought were their biggest, what they have said, and they were their biggest supporter, they had thought, but had some uneducated comments along the way that really affected them. And so that's why I get back to sometimes that headspace we have in that circle.
Yeah, because that can really hurt and sting for a while.
Right? Oh yeah,
that sticks with
you. That's still 20 years later.
Yeah,
that still takes him 20 years later.
Oh yeah, if my mom had said that to me, I don't think I could handle that.
Right,
because that's so just like, oh, it just hits you in the chest.
It does. And it sucks because people say this to their significant ones. It's insane. Like, and I know sometimes it is that it's being scared and whatnot, and it's just like that just still stings.
Well, and that's why we do this, is we want this to not be like it. Yes, it is a surgery, it is a big deal, but we don't want people to feel like it's like you're so scared for your significant other, because if you were going into a gallbladder surgery, you wouldn't say that. Like,
no.
And do you know the complication rate for bariatric surgery is less than the gallbladder complication rate?
That's amazing. No, but we know now.
It is.
Yes. We love our stats.
We do, because that it can totally help someone get the surgery later when they realize, like, oh, it's not even as bad as gallbladder surgery. Like, okay, this is not a deal. Like, get their family on board and chill the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. We do not need.
Yes.
Yeah, we need people to be supportive and accepting. And I mean, that's why this stigma is such a big deal.
Well, and any support person, I always recommend them, like, learn about it. Go do the research. Go read some articles. If you don't need many to understand what's going on.
No, you don't.
And just try.
Well, we've had listeners write in and say, oh, I had my mom listen to the podcast, or I had my husband listen to the podcast so that they can understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, the most recent one was the husband, and now the husband loves us. And
yes.
And then they listen to us together.
Yes, so, it's so cute.
It's so cute.
We love that. We love that we can bring
shout out to that tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Shout out to that tonight if they're listening. Yay.
Yes. Yeah, we love when couples listen to it together, because then you get a whole nother level of understanding where the other person is coming from.
Yeah, because we don't hold back. We tell you all the mental things that we go through, because that's, I feel like, one thing that needs to be spoken about more
is the mental
side. And I know we're beating up against the whole mental health issue that people try to ignore, because those go hand in hand. And so that's another whole stigma that we have to deal with. So it's like, but we need that help. We need everybody to talk about it, because it's real.
We do.
It's here. It happens.
Body dysmorphia. You've got transfer addiction. You've got anxiety. You've got depression. I mean, there's so much of the mental side that goes with weight loss surgery. And just mental health in general too.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I love that you're bringing this awareness to this show tonight. I love how we were able to bring this into the conversation. So this is very important. So
yes, mental health is huge.
Well, and I know I was just a big denier, apparently. We're just learning.
She was very much in denial.
I was in a lot of denial, because like my husband has depression, and I know what it looks like on him, but I don't know what it looks like on me. And I didn't know what it looked like until I went through this process, until I had surgery, because I had to deal with it, because now can't eat my feelings, because
you got to deal with it.
Fit it in my stomach.
Yep.
All the problems. So I have to like physically deal with it and process it and work out and eat right and try to like make myself feel better and get myself out of depression. So like, that's what actually me and my husband recently talked about, how depression affects some people so differently.
I feel for myself that coming right out of the gates of having bariatric surgery and deciding that I wanted to be a voice for it has really helped me to, with those struggles, because mental health struggles, because I've remained such a positive, and because I've tried to remain a positive for others, I've tried to do that for myself too. And so I think that's given me a really good advantage on the mental health part, because I'm telling patients each day, you talk to yourself more than you talk to anybody else. So be kind, say positive things to yourself every day. And so then I'm doing that, and just trying to focus my attention on supporting and being positive has really helped my mental health, because like I said, you don't realize how much you talk to yourself. So practicing and mindful of my own mental health by saying positive things to myself each day has been huge for me. And by the time I was having bariatric surgery, my children were teenagers. And, some of us moms, and they're my youngest. So some of us moms, as our children are beginning to grow and not need us as much, that can be a struggle too. And so this brought me a whole new place to be where I felt needed, because, the kids didn't need me as much, but now I could focus my attention into advocating and feeling needed here. So all that really helped my mental health grow and prosper after bariatric surgery than prior to bariatric surgery. So this has been a very positive for my mental health, because I did suffer depression. I did suffer some anxieties. I had mentioned earlier that I had lost my daughter, and several years ago, many years ago, and it was in a tragic accident. And I was able to conceive her after many years of infertility, and those infertility treatments is what brought on my weight. I had a lot of mental health. I had a lot of mental health struggles, and embracing this new journey in life, this like whole new life I gave myself, has really helped me grow from that mental place that I was. So I've been fortunate since bariatric surgery not to have undergone some of the mental health challenges that some patients have, but I've been able to grow from them by focusing on advocating and focusing on supporting and being mindful of myself. So everybody that's listening, please take this message home. You talk to yourself more than you talk to anybody else each day, which means you're listening to yourself more than you're listening to anybody else. So be kind to you. Say positive things to yourself throughout the day, and you're going to feel that positivity, and you're going to feel that love, and that's going to really help you with your mental health. So just please practice that, and just know that you're important. And
it goes a long way.
That came from heart.
Self-talk is so important. Like self-talk is amazing. You have to, because you're right, we are with ourselves all day long. Like we literally talk to ourselves right when we wake up and when we go to bed. So why are we, you talk
through
about
the night
when
you're sleeping.
Yeah, because Kelly talks about a lot, like trying to give yourself grace, and that's
give yourself grace, because
hard.
we're going through a lot. I mean, we've put our bodies through a lot, and we're trying to navigate this huge change in your life, and not only physically but mentally, and you've got stigma that goes behind it, and then you've got people that are nasty on one end, so you're constantly battling in your brain. And so if you don't get all your water in one day, or you don't get all your protein in one day, give yourself some grace. Like, it's okay.
It happens.
It happens. We all have days like that. And you just take a deep breath, and tomorrow's a new day, and you move on. Because I mean, I do it to myself. I'll be like, well, you didn't do this. You didn't do this. You're not doing great on this. And it's like, okay, hold on. What have I got going on right now?
Why do we always list the negative? We always go to the negative first. And it's like, no, let's things you've done positive today.
Yeah.
Did you make your bed? Yeah. Did you brush your teeth? Yeah. There you go. Start off small. They don't have to be huge.
Oh, no. They can be like, hey, I just got up and got a glass of water.
Yeah.
Score for me.
Yeah. Like start out small.
We actually had a listener, a follower, write in, and she was saying how she was having such a hard time with the weather changes, and she's really struggling. And I said, well, choose something really small. Like you said, like make your bed, like focus on the only thing I'm going to do today is make my bed. And if that's a positivity out of that, great. And she actually made a list of some small tasks that she could do to kind of bring herself out of that, because sometimes you can't focus on the whole picture. You've got to take it one page at a time.
Yeah. Well, and you're building a chapter.
I see
it is like basically you're for like say our podcast, like we have so many items that we have to do all the time that like stuff gets lost in the tracks. But the basically is like the reason why this podcast runs the way that it runs is because every day we're doing little tasks.
Yeah, we take one thing at a time.
Yeah, just do little tasks all the way up until you hit like that mark. Just like reading a book, little pages at a time.
Yep.
You don't have to go all in.
Exactly.
So
exactly. What were you going to say, Jeanine?
Oh, I was just listening to a program recently, and they talked on mental health and depression, and how making your bed each morning, how big of a deal that is. And we take I don't either.
There's all the TED Talk
is that and both of you have brought this up, and they're like, this is a big deal. I mean, because it just starts your day. It's like a same routine each day. It starts your day. It's like, okay, you're getting up and you've accomplished this one thing, and you look at it and you feel like, oh, look at how good it looks. Like, like it's just like a whole start off, and then you move from there. And even if that's what you got accomplished, and then a shower and you got yourself ready, but you stayed home, how just those few simple starts, they really do a lot for your mental health too, just to have felt accomplished. But that wasn't the first time. And here both you ladies are talking about it too, like just starting by making your bed.
Yeah, exactly. I would say 3 years ago, I saw the TED Talk about it. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. And I do it every morning. And because I work from home, I pass by my room every day and I'm like, that looks good. And I get happy. So it totally does change your mood. It's nuts.
Mine is the dishes. I like to walk by the kitchen and see the dishes done. And if that's the only thing I accomplished all day, which most of the time it's not, but if I can just walk by that and see a clean sink, I'm good.
It does wonders.
Yeah, it does do wonders. And into the bed making, I've never really felt it like it was like this huge importance in making the bed each morning. And I did it here and there randomly. But this year, about a month ago, I set up my Christmas bed set, and I got these new great pillows for it. And so it's like this, it's just like, wow, I feel like it's the only thing in my life that looks like it came from the Martha Stewart catalog.
Yeah. Yes. Awesome. I love it.
It looks so awesomeness. Like it's just bad. Yeah. And I'm just like, now it's just like, I feel that like, wow, this is right about making the bed. Like I need like a really like awesome whole bed set up for the whole year, not just Christmas, because it makes me feel like, whoa, my bed could be in the catalog right now. Yeah. I started my day pretty good.
Seriously.
Yeah. I love that. After the new year, go and buy one of those fancy bed sets, and then you'll want to have it all set up every morning.
Get all cute pillows. It's all about the pillows.
If my husband didn't,
thank you, Marcia.
Yes. Yeah. If my husband didn't work at night and sleep during the day, I would make my bed.
Yeah, you really can't. There's someone always in the bed.
Exactly. Yeah. I sleep in it as soon as he gets out of it. So it doesn't really work. But the weekends I do. But
I get the dishes because when I walk by this thing, I get annoyed if it's dirty because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to do that later.
It always feels like this big
But it's not. I noticed that after losing weight and going through this journey, I used to think we talk about the dread, and I used to dread doing just simple tasks like making the bed or doing the laundry or doing the dishes. And like, it would take me forever. I'd be exhausted, I'd be sweaty, but it was because I was so big. But now when I do things, it's like easier and lighter and quicker, and and I feel great afterwards. Like, it's so weird.
It's a non-scale victory for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
Add that to the non-scale victory, making your bed.
Exactly. Yeah. We love non-scale victories.
It's our favorite.
Yeah.
What kind of non-scale victory?
So what was hey, now that we're at non-scale victories and this conversation's like gone in so many great directions today.
Yes.
You girls got some like favorite non-scale victories? Because I mean, I have a couple.
I was gonna say, I'll ask from you.
Yeah, let's hear yours. We want to hear from you.
Okay. So my biggest non-scale victory was when I was going to get to wear boots over my thighs.
Yeah.
So I remember it was about 2 months after bariatric surgery, a month after, somewhere in there, I bought a pair of Hunter boots and I went to put them on, and I could barely get them on, but I definitely could not have worn the sock. I couldn't have worn the Hunter boot sock, nothing. But I was like able to get it on, and my leg was like kind of squeezed in there. Yeah. And I was like, I was just waiting for the day. And so it took many more months after that, but yeah, I got into those boots, and then I was able to get into some zipper up boots, not just the pullover rubbery type.
Yeah.
And so that before surgery, I really wasn't able to do. I had to kind of get the lower boots. And so that was just something I wanted. And I wanted to wear white pants. I wanted to wear white pants and not
that was how I feel like.
Yes. And I kept being like, I'm going to wear some white pants. I'm going to wear some high heels. I'm going to wear a tank top. I don't care if those white pants are like spandex. I'm going to be wearing them.
That's right.
Yes. Yes. I wanted to wear white pants.
Yeah. I forgot that is a non-scale victory that I had too.
Yeah.
To be in white
You
pants.
haven't worn yours yet.
I have, just not those that we bought together.
Okay.
I did have many more than just those two. Okay. So if anybody listening, there was more than just those two. There were a lot of them, but those were just two fun ones I'm going to mention here, you know. So
definitely.
Yeah. My favorite was the towel.
Yes.
The first time the towel can wrap around me like a normal towel. I was so stoked. I was like, in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, look. I even like called my husband. I'm like, babe, look. And he's just like, you're such a nerd. I'm like, no, but like, I don't have to use a beach towel to cover me.
Right.
Like, that was so cool to just have a normal towel you get from Target and it fits around me.
The hotel towels.
Yeah.
Because those are always minuscule. So when you can wrap that around you, you're like, yes, I made it.
We did it.
Yeah.
And then my next one was the collarbone.
Oh, we both love the collarbone.
Oh yeah. I can see it. I can feel it.
Yep.
I used to tap it. I still tap it every once in a while.
Yep.
Like, oh, you're still there.
Yep. We're like, okay, we're good. It's still there.
That should be a good check for us when we're having like the body dysmorphia problem. We'll just
tap your collarbone.
Tap your collarbone, everybody.
Yep.
Because no, it's still there.
It's still there. You're still doing
still
great.
Small. You're not big.
I think my biggest one is probably
touch your toes.
Yeah. That's a big one. My biggest one, I think, is being able to cross my legs.
Oh yeah.
Because I cross my legs all day, every day now.
Doing it right now.
I am. I do it. I sit down and I cross my legs. And before it was always like, I had to sit with my knees open a little bit wider and I was never comfortable. And now it's like, you don't even think about it.
It's just instant. Oh, that's a good one.
Yes. I love that one. I mean, there's so many, obviously, like you were saying, like there's so many non-scale victories, which we celebrate non-scale victories on Sundays.
Heck yeah.
So we like to post different ones that we've accomplished during our journey. So on our Instagram. And I mean, we just love seeing them. We love hearing about them.
Those are more important than the weight itself, because it's something you can take away. You can be positive about it, and you're giving your good self-talk, you know,
you're giving
like
yourself
Jeanine's
grace.
been talking about. That's so important. You're with yourself all day long. So.
Exactly. So let's kind of go into your journey with ProCare.
Yeah. How did that happen?
We want to know.
Okay. Yes, one of my favorite parts of my journey.
Oh, good.
Yeah. An amazing part of my journey, and Like, I just, it not only has been an amazing part of my journey, it's kind of one of those, I still have to pinch myself things like, is this real? Did this really happen? Did I really make this happen? Like, did they make this happen for me? Like, so,
yeah.
all right. How my place with ProCare Health's team and how this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So during my pre-op time, my nutritionist recommended lots of different supplements, and she recommended for proteins and things like that. And she there's a few vitamins out there that the dietitians will recommend. And one of the multiple supplements that she recommended for me was ProCare Health's 1 a day multiple. And she liked it because it was a 1 a day. It was easy. It was very affordable, like $12 a bottle. And
nice.
She felt, in her mind, she felt that it was something that patients were able to stay compliant with. Sometimes when you get into something that a regimen of multiples that are too expensive, they see patients walking away from them or whatever. I didn't even understand any of this at the time, but it was just, in her opinion, during this pre-op time, it was one of the multiples that she had recommended, and she recommended it because of its affordability and because she believed everything that was in the supplement was what
it was like well-rounded.
So anyway, so there we were. It was something she recommended. So of course, I just start using this product that she recommends. Well, during that time after my surgery, when I had shared earlier how I was on Twitter and I started these chats and this and that, and I created the I'm a bariatric patient hashtag. A couple months after that, it was about 10 months after my surgery. I was just 2 months shy of my year surgery. I was going to a patient conference hosted by the Obesity Action Coalition, Your Weight Matters. Now, while I say that, I'm going to say there's lots of patient conferences out there that are amazing. There's WLFSA, and there's Obesity Health, and there's here in the United States, those are a few conferences. So I don't want to just shout out to one. But anyway, I was going to this one conference, and I'd paid to go, and it was out in Denver, and I live in Michigan. And they start sending me all the information on the conference. And I noticed that there's going to be an exhibit hall. And in there, I'm looking at all the exhibitors. And there was exhibitors from several different proteins I was using. And there was ProCare Health, which had been the supplement I was using. And I'm like, okay, I have this hashtag. I have some friends in the medical community on Twitter. I have these things going. Some of those medical professionals and other patients I've met on Twitter were going to the conference.
Oh, nice.
I'm looking at the exhibit hall, and I'm putting together all these ideas of what I want to accomplish when I go to this meeting. And I was like, I'm going to meet some of these exhibitors and the products that I use. And I'm going to ask an exhibitor if I can be an ambassador or an advocate. I even shared this with my surgeon before I left. At one of my follow-up appointments, I said, this might sound crazy, but here's a list of the exhibitors that are going to be at this conference I'm going to. I have an idea here. I'm gonna approach the supplement company, because I mean, what would be the perfect time, right? You know what I mean? Like, I can't call them or just write into them, but maybe if they see me in person and I walk in with a shirt, maybe I could approach somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
So I get to the conference, and the very first night there's an exhibit opening for all the participants to come into this exhibit hall. And I went right up to the ProCare Health booth, not knowing anybody or anything. And I saw a nice young lady at the booth. I introduced myself. I told her I was a patient, that I had created this hashtag and that I used their product. And I was wondering if they would be looking for an ambassador or an advocate or somebody to join their team. And she kind of looked at me, she's like, Nick's the owner of our company and he's standing right here, but he was talking to like a group of people. He was talking to a group of people. She's like, you could wait and maybe talk to him. I don't know, and she's like, but I'm sure he'd like to talk to you. So I stood there and talking to her, but kind of listening to him. And I'm taking all this in, and I'm like, so he owns this company. He's here at a patient conference. He's surrounded by patients, And I'm listening to the conversations he's having with them. And he was like actually listening to their stories and their journeys, not just talking to them about his supplements. He's like listening to them. And he's asking a couple of those people in that group, you know, what their feedback was on his supplement. And I was just, at that point, I was like, all right, I made the right decision here.
Yeah, I love that.
This company.
Hands-on.
Because here he is, the owner of the company, and he's here at this conference for patients, not even medical professionals, and he's engaged with these patients. And so the young woman talking with me, she kept apologizing that, you know, she couldn't get him over to my way because he's talking. And I was like, no, I don't want to interrupt him. She goes, why don't you come back tomorrow? And I said, all right, well, tomorrow morning when the hall opens, before the classes start, the seminars, I'm going to come in. She's like, all right, he'll be here. You know, we stayed the whole time. So the next morning I got up, got another shirt on, got ready, and I went right down there. And I walked up to the same young lady and I said, I'd really like to get a chance to talk to him. Could you like introduce me or something? So just introduced ourselves, and I had explained to him how I was on a mission to change the stigmas and the biases that surround bariatric surgery and obesity, and that I had created this hashtag, and I didn't know how I was going to do it yet, because I just created it and I was trying to, and that I was looking for anybody who would help support me, to give me a voice and to give me an audience that was bigger than what I was getting. And that, you know, this is basically what I was looking for. Just like, can you help me if I help you? And because I need in my heart to spread this message and to share and to support and to encourage and to love. And I need an opportunity to get in front of more people. Could you take a chance on me? And he's like, you had bariatric surgery and this is what you've done? Like, he was like probably because he just never expected anyone to come up to him that morning and be like, you know, presenting to him what I'm presenting. And he said, hey, let's go to dinner tonight. Let's talk about it. So his team and I went to dinner that night. We had a great conversation, and he's like, let's do it. He's like, I think this would be a perfect fit. And I was calling myself an ambassador, and he said, I think I like advocate better. And I said, all right. So we came up with national advocate. And here I am today, like 28 months later, and still doing this. Now, this last year has been a struggle with COVID. So what I have been used to doing with the company has kind of changed this year. At sometimes it kind of stopped dead in its tracks for a little bit with some of our COVID situations going on. But so what I had been doing in the past and what I'm doing right now is completely different. And hopefully we get back to where we were, but there's also been new lessons learned this year. And so a lot of time to learn some new things, take on those new lessons, and to be better moving forward. So one of those new things was doing more on social media and learning Zoom. So I've learned that. And so we have a lot of new lessons learned, like I said, that we'll go forward with and be even better. But this is how it started with me with ProCare. I'm going to share this too when I go back I want to go back real quick to when patients say, I wish I could be an advocate. How can I be an advocate? I couldn't be an advocate. I want to tell you that when I started this, going on Twitter, and I started the I'm a bariatric patient hashtag, I had no internet in my home. I had no computer. I had none of that. I had a cell phone, and I was a mom and a grandma armed with a cell phone, just using my voice wherever I could. And it wasn't until I got on board with ProCare a couple months later, they gifted me a laptop to be able to use.
Aww,
so I was on my phone. I had 12 miles from a gas station, couldn't even get pizza delivery where I had lived. And so I just want to tell people this. To use your voice to be an advocate, you do not have to be rich. You do not have to have fancy devices. You do not have to be popular. You do not have to live in a big city. You just show up, you use your voice, you give your heart, and people listen because people want to relate to you in your story. When you share a story, people find a way to relate. Most people.
Right.
And that's the most important part of being an advocate. And this is just my heart, and I love it. And I just want to say that thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here on this podcast today. This is my very first podcast. And a year ago, I thought podcasts were for people that had Apple phones. I didn't know anything.
That's awesome.
Podcast. I didn't know that. And I recently had to ask a friend, like back this summer, like, so anyone can listen to a podcast? This isn't like an Apple phone thing or something?
Well, you're not alone, because when I came up with this idea, like Kellie did not know about podcasts either. So like when I approached her and I was like, I want to do a podcast because this is the avenue that I have found that I get to learn a lot from, because I listen to so many different types of podcasts. It's crazy. Like I listen to doctors' podcasts.
It's insane.
I also listen to a bunch of comedians, and then I also listen to like murder mystery stuff. Like it's all over the place. But you get to learn so much about so many people, and we can talk to people that are like in Europe, in Australia, in Russia. Like we can talk to people all over the place with a podcast. So when I approached her, she's like, I hope you don't mind. I don't even know anything about a podcast.
I was like, I don't know what a podcast is. I don't know what a podcast does, but sure, I'll be on it.
My friend just sent me the first link to a podcast, like in June or July. He sent this. And that's when I was like, wow, anyone can listen.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I love your story too. Like we're in this together.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and some people are like, I don't listen to podcasts, but I listen to your guys's podcast, which is kind of a cool feeling to be like, oh, okay.
So I do have a question, Jeanine, about ProCare and advocacy that you do. So before Corona hit, what were your job duties? What did you actually do? Like, how is your voice with ProCare like amplified, and how is it helping? And
pre-COVID.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
Yes.
Well, okay. So for COVID, I was very fortunate to be able to attend all the conferences that ProCare could send me to. Like I wouldn't have turned down one, and I was begging for everyone. So I was able to attend conferences for patients and medical conferences. So I was able to learn from the medical and the scientific side of it. And then I was able to be at the patient conferences and be able to engage with patients. The ASMBS, which is the American Society of Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery, they have different walks from obesity around the United States each year. So I was able to attend many of those. And some I was able to be a speaker, some I was just attending at the product booth, but I was able to engage with countless numbers of patients. And the company has taken me to different support group meetings and offered to allow me to travel to different support group meetings. And so it's just been an amazing way for me to be able to use my voice and encourage others that want to use their voice. I mean, advocating isn't for everybody. But for those who want to, it's there. And for patients who maybe just want some support, and then I'm able to help support, and they're able to help support me, because like I said, this has been great for my mental being too, my mental health, and for my support, because I need support too. And so many patients have touched me in countless ways, and many of them may have like left a meeting with me and not even known how they've touched me or the story I'll take away from meeting them. And so I've just been completely blessed. I just beyond words. And I'm telling you, there's so many times that I was getting ready to walk into a seminar or leave on a plane to go to a seminar or a patient meeting. And it was like, I got to pinch myself, because this is real. Like has this last couple of years really happened? And am I here with ProCare? And did I have this bariatric surgery? Because so many times I just feel like
a dream.
So, yeah, it's just been like the best of dream ever. And I'm just telling you, everybody, I was just a girl in this rural town who just decided, like, I'm sharing my story. I'm doing something about it. I don't know how, and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to keep doing this until I can. And I went to this conference, and I was like, I went with the mission of, I'm going to meet some product companies. I'm going to find somebody, and prayers, it's this company that I'm going for. But if they turn me down, I'll go to another. And thank God above that they didn't turn me down, because ProCare is the one I was going right to. And
yeah, they seem like an amazing company.
Well, it's just like, I often say to Nick, how did you like staff this company so awesomely, because awesomely is not even a word, but how did you do such an amazing job staffing this company? Because everybody just like works together and they're so awesome. And I can message anybody for some support that I need or whatever. And it's just there, like everyone just works together and everyone's there for the patient. And then when I go there to visit, and the energy I probably bring in and is being the patient there, they probably like that energy too. So I don't even know how he managed to build the staff that he did.
We're going to have him on.
I don't even know. I've asked him. I'm like, I know how you got me. I walked up to you, but where did you get all these awesome people?
That's so perfect. Yeah, we'll definitely have to see if he can come on.
Yeah, Jeanine,
you need to get Nick on here.
You can say, do you think he'd be willing to come on and talk to us?
Oh, I think he would be. And now learning more about the people that work at ProCare and Nick, the owner, Nick has like 5 kids or something. So he's probably, maybe that gave him like the ability to hire this awesome staff or something. Like maybe. I don't know.
Willing to wrangle.
I manage 5 kids. You know, like so he's like had some skill there to bring in all these amazing people. But I just it was still just I can't even explain it, ladies.
She looks like she's in awe.
I am because it's like first of all, the gift of giving myself bariatric surgery is like one of the best gifts I've ever given myself. And ladies, it was one of the top 10 days of my life was the day I had bariatric surgery.
Aww.
And ever since then, it's just been amazing because like I said, I didn't let myself get down, and I kept saying to myself, if I'm going to be a supporter, I'm going to support, and I'm going to go to people who when I need support. And I'm just going to, if I'm telling people to get a supporter, I'm going to get a supporter. And I kept staying that way. And then to just have the courage to walk up to a company and ask them to give me a chance on some idea that I had back then that was like still kind of crazy. Like, hey, I think I could do something with this hashtag. Will you help me? It's just all been like the bestest dream ever. And I can't even imagine.
Like a family. It seems like, if you think about it, like he took you in like a, you know, because like you have had this hashtag, and like he can help you and you can help him. And it's like just this loving family, like, hey, let's just do this together. Like,
exactly.
Let's just break the stigma together.
They were the first people to look at me in the eye, because everybody else that I had met on Twitter supported this. And my medical team supported this, that was taking care of me. But it was like one of the first strangers like I had seen, like I like pitched this idea to in person, and like looked at me and was like, I believe in this. I think you got something, you know, like I think we could do something with this. I'll give you a voice. I'll help you give you a voice. I'll help you.
That's fantastic.
And, so I've had a lot of rough edges, and but it's real and it's from the heart. And so, you know, it's as real as it gets with me with this. And
we love it. You can tell because you got a little emotional there earlier.
Yeah.
So we know you care.
Yeah.
Seems like you have a big heart.
And I don't want, I firmly believe that if I can gather voices now, the more voices we gather, then collectively we're going to be louder. We're setting the stage for the future patient, and we're not going to, we're going to overcome these stigmas and these biases and make a difference. And so anybody out there listening and struggling, just know you're not the only one struggling. There's been a lot of struggles.
So much. Yeah.
But we're going to get through this, and together as a community, we can get through this. And there's a lot of support in this community. I want to say, for the bariatric community, the way that they've accepted the advocates that have come in, these medical professionals in the bariatric community really set the bar for accepting their advocates. And because they truly embrace those advocates. And like I said, from that first Twitter chat I got into, and how I felt so welcomed, and then how it just like the next month was even more amazing. I'm like, these people remember me, you know what I mean? Like they're encouraging. It's still a couple of years later, they're encouraging. So they really, the medical professionals that are themselves advocates really encourage patient advocates in this field. Yes. And so know that if you're out there and you want to be a bigger voice, or you want to use your voice, don't be afraid or to think that the medical community might not support you, because they will. They truly set the bar at accepting advocates in this field. So,
well, they need the help.
So please take that.
I think that's the biggest deal. They need the help to show that, hey, it's okay to have surgery. Come to our office, check in. Let's do a look. Let's see if you're qualified, because they know that obesity is a big deal in the world and it needs to be dealt with. Yeah. I mean, look what was happening with us ignoring it for so long. Like being ignored has caused health issues for people and dying too young. So like, I love the fact that these medical professionals are like, hey, let's get the word out as fast as possible.
Well, and companies, I mean, like ProCare, sending you to speak your truth and to tell people, like, bariatric surgery it's you're just getting a new life. Yeah. You're getting a new start. So it's not the end of the world.
And they made a product for us. That's what I love. Yeah. Is they made a product specifically for us to help us through our journey, because we all have absorption issues now that we've all had different types of surgeries, and they definitely cater to that. And that's what we needed. Yes. There's a whole community here and world here that they can help. So
100%. And the company continues. I mean, it's like every time I have a conversation with someone in the company, you know, because I'm in Michigan and they're in Missouri, and when we have these conversations, it's always focused around how can we support more? What can we do to be bigger supporters? Let's brainstorm more ideas. And having some of this downtime with COVID has brought a lot more time to do some of those brainstormings as things we can look at in the future to help be of more support in stigmas and biases and in changing some of that. And something else the company has done too is they've paid for me to advocate on Capitol Hill. So I've actually been to Capitol Hill and have talked with congressmen and in senators' offices and talked about the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act and trying to get that passed onto a bill so we can have better access to care for bariatric surgery. So the company's also afforded me that opportunity that I wouldn't have been able to afford on my own to help pay for that.
That's fantastic. So cool.
I've gone into my state congressman's office and had conversations with him, and so that's been of importance, and that's not something that every company would probably take to heart or see.
Yeah, it means a lot, the fact that they're trying to even get a bill passed to get us help. Like, yes, that's what you want out of a company. So is there, before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to add about your journey or about ProCare or anything that you can think of that we didn't cover?
Well, let's see here. So much. We've gone so much. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, here's one. So I've been asked several times, well, how can I be, like, I see you as a success, Jeanine, which, thank you. That's a great compliment. How can I have my journey be as successful as yours? Or what do you think made your journey a success? So those are a couple of the questions that I get asked a lot. Like, what made your journey a success in your opinion? And I want to say that what was important to me from the very first day that I met with a surgeon, because the surgeon was the first person I met with. I didn't meet with some, other people or dietitian first. I got to meet the surgeon first, and then I went on with the dietitian and the nurses and everybody. So the very first day that I met, I said to myself driving to this appointment, Jeanine, you answer to nobody other than God, yourself, your surgeon, and the dietitian. This is it. Because I had already seen all those stigmas and biases in the struggles that other patients had gone through. And so I took with me that I was going to make a change, but that is what I said to myself in that car ride. And I said it countless times since. And when I went to prepare for my hospital stay for surgery, I mentally prepared myself for like a spa getaway. I did. I was like, this is Jeanine's spa retreat, her getaway. And ladies, when that medical team walked into my hospital room a couple hours after my surgery, when they came in to visit me in the evening, I had my humidifier going. I had fancy bottles of water. So the next day, because I was like, ain't no hospital water going in these Cadillac insides. I'm gonna have I had the aromatherapy going in the room, and the humidifiers. I brought everything to give myself a facial the next day, and a body scrub the best I could around, my incision, taking a shower. I brought in the extension cord, so my phone was like right up into my bed. I thought of all these things I could do to make my stay like this was Jeanine's retreat. I had the fans going. I had my own favorite blanket pillows, and I totally, like, I swear when they walked into my room, it was like eyes were looking around, and they're just like, okay,
what's going on here?
Nobody didn't notify us that the princess was here for the surgery. You know what? This is a gift for me. This is all about me at this point. I mean, it was about my family and stuff like that, but I kind of went in with the mental space of, this is about Jeanine right now, and this is a gift for her. And of course, the big picture is my family and everybody. Okay. But there was a little bit there that I just had to say to myself, this is for her. This is for Jeanine. And I'm going to approach this as the best gift I'm giving Jeanine. And that's what I did. And I walked away from it being one of the top 10 days of my life. I have absolutely no regrets. And so I want to just say that I really, truly believe what helped me be a success as I told myself I was going to be. And even on the days I struggled, I said to myself, today is just this day. Tomorrow we'll start over. Today I might have had something I shouldn't have had. Today maybe I didn't get enough protein, didn't get enough water, whatever. Tomorrow's a new day. And I just stayed as best positive as I could. And I decided that nobody was going to say anything to get me down because of all that I had seen. And I think because I showed that confidence when I talked about the surgery and how I posted it right off social media, right from the hospital, it didn't really give anybody an opportunity to say something to me, because I would have just shut it down back. And and because for so long I didn't. So don't just think that I was like this really strong mental space person before this, because I wasn't. I had gone through a lot, and I was to the point where, like, you know what, I've been through the worst in life, which was losing my daughter. And because of that, there was nothing anybody was ever going to say to me or do to me that was going to be worse than what I had already gone through.
Yeah.
And that maybe because I had that drive in me, maybe that would be, my strong point or something, but I just decided that my voice
matters.
I was going to use it, and it mattered. And that's one of my favorite sayings, is you matter.
Yeah, you matter.
I wasn't going to, nobody had the opportunity to bring me down, because it just wasn't going to happen, because I've already been through some of the toughest things in life. Yeah. And then embracing all these other patient stories with those struggles, I just knew that no, like I've had this burning inside of me for so long that I got to use it.
I'm glad that you did.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got to meet you.
This is amazing.
I've learned so much on this episode, and I'm so much about ProCare and your journey, and it's like some light bulbs have turned on. Yeah. And we're definitely have to email later, because I don't know anything about these conferences, and we have to know. We need to know.
We want to know all
what
about
they
them.
are, where they are, how can we go, because that's just going to bring another level of awareness to this world and to this community. And I didn't even know about this till literally this conversation. So
there's several patient conferences, and so many of them had to go virtual this year because of COVID. Yeah. And I had the opportunity to speak for, on Facebook Lives at a couple of them. One was a great conference out of Toronto. There's a great conference out there held by Janet Patterson. There's just so many. And like I said, here in the United States, we got Obesity Action Coalition's Your Weight Matters, and the WLFSA, which is the Weight Loss Surgery of America. And we have Obesity Help. There's so many. And when you go to these conferences, it's just like, you like get this whole new family community. It's just weird. Like after each time I went to each conference the first time, it was like, I had this whole like little bonding group of friends that all were there for each other and supporting each other. And it's just been an amazing avenue to have. And so as they come up, if you can mention some of those conferences, like I can even send you links when I see them come up next year, that would be wonderful, because if a conference is being held in an area that patients live and can get to, or if somebody wants to fly to one, they won't regret it. I can tell you, because they would
love to document it and go ourselves. I think would be great, just so they can see it. They can see how well this works and who is part of that community, because I know I'm blind to it, and I'd like to just go all in.
Yeah, so definitely.
That would be fun. So we'll have to figure out how to get there and do all these things.
Yeah, but we definitely would welcome any information you can send our way on it.
If you ladies ever came to a conference and I was there, I would love to hear you podcast right from the conference. That would be so amazing.
We would love to do that.
That is on our like list of things of like we dream about, like
our bucket list.
Our bucket list for the podcast is to go to these conferences and then be in a conference.
And then also be able to tour and meet all of these patients and be a living, breathing person in front of them. Like that's our bucket list.
I think they
right
need
there.
to see it.
Yeah.
I have some other ideas for some things that I want to do, and we definitely need to talk about them together.
Yeah. We're loving this, girl.
We are all in.
And I have been looking for the right couple people to do it with. But you guys this has just been amazing. I've been looking at anywhere that my voice is welcome, I want to be. And so I just so appreciate that you let me be here today, and maybe we can have for future discussions, and we can even come up with certain talk paths for other conversations. If you didn't want it to be along, the lines of the same as this one, there's so many ways so many avenues we can talk about in bariatrics and obesity that we could
we're going to be on the live for ProCare.
Yeah, we'll be on the ProCare live the 23rd.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to do a live with ProCare. So
yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Super excited for that.
The 23rd of this month.
Yeah. Yeah. Brenda said it was 11 a.m. our time.
Yes.
11 a.m. Pacific. She said, and we're like, all right, we'll do it.
Yeah. We're down for whatever. We love to talk to people. We love to learn new things. I mean, we're just like these little bariatric sponges.
Seriously.
We just want to soak it all in.
I want to learn all the things and help people learn all the things.
Exactly. So, well, thank you so much, Jeanine, for being here. We're so excited that we got to know you, know more about your journey with ProCare. And we hope that we can speak soon about future stuff too.
Yeah, we're excited to collaborate with you guys.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun.
Definitely.
I'm excited to that we have you here to collaborate with us, and excited for all that the future is going to bring, and a lot more pinch me moments.
So. Yes, exactly. Love it. All right. Thank you so much, Jeanine. And you guys have been listening to Our Sleeved Life. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
See you later.